Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the Ingroove in Phoenix, Arizona. Today I'm going to do a review of the new Purple Rain Prince One Step from Because Sound Matters. This is limited to 6,000 copies. This is a one step, meaning it uses fewer processes to make the actual disc itself, resulting in a lower noise floor. But unlike a lot of the Because Sounds Matters one step so far, although some have been digital, this one is digital. Digital in an era where, I don't know, digital's not theoretically necessary because the tape exists. But with a one-step process, the drawback is they don't want to overwear the tape. If it was me, I would go for the all analog, non-one-step versus the one-step from a digital file. But this is what we have. This is what I'm going to review. And I'm going to compare it against a few other records I have here. I also have a beautiful original copy of Purple Rain. And then I have, which has been for a long time my go-to copy, this is the analog copy of Purple Rain, cut by Kevin Gray. There are multiple Kevin Gray pressings of this album, but only one of them is analog. You need the Kevin Gray cut at Acoustek Mastering lacquer to get an analog cut. So if you're looking in your dead wax, it's KPG at ATM. That's Acoustek Mastering. He has since redone this at his newer facility, Coherent, and that is from a digital file. So that is what we have here. This is typically the Kevin Gray has been my go-to. So I've had this record at the house here for a couple of weeks, and I've been kind of just procrastinating and not getting to this, but I finally decided, you know what, time to review this record. Here we go. Now I will say, let's get back to this one step. When it first came out, I was disappointed. I'm disappointed because it's $100 and it's cut from a digital file. In the back of my mind, we got a Kevin Gray cut. And at the time of this video, you could still get that Kevin Gray cut analog copy for sub $30 online. So I thought to myself, well, damn, this is gonna have to be really good to be worth $100. Well, from the onset, here is the actual disc. I hate these stupid one-step boxes. I'm just getting less and less enthused with these as time goes on. But take that out of the equation, you do have a beautiful gatefold tip-on jacket. Fantastic. Record was never a gatefold to begin with, but they took the flowers from the outside cover and made an inside cover that really serves no purpose because there's nothing in it. Also includes a beautiful inner here. Thick cardboard that you would never use because it comes in a anti-static sleeve. A really nice, high-quality Prince poster. So the packaging is lights out, right? Can't argue that. Fantastic packaging. The disc, whisper quiet. But it's cut from a digital file. So I spent some time, I reviewed them all. Let's start with the original. The original sounds like a 1980s record. It sounds fantastic, isolated in a bubble. It sounds really good. It's a happening record. It's Prince. It's one of the greatest albums of all time. Certainly maybe the second or third top 5 greatest albums of the 80s, no doubt. Tough decade, a lot of good stuff in the 80s. And it is relatively well done, but it does suffer from an 80s sound. It is a kind of compressed, poppy, dancey type of vibe going on. That's just the nature of this record. Now, when you get to the Kevin Gray cut that came out maybe 15 years ago now, the Acoustek Mastering version, it improves upon the original quite a bit, I think. The original suffers from that 80s metallic-y, sheeny, compression-y sound. You know what I mean? I guess on some systems, it actually might be pretty decent. But on my modern, high-end, hyper-detailed system, it's good, but it's not wonderful. You get to the Kevin Gray cut, and it cleans a lot of that up. Things are more cohesive. It maintains the same sonic characteristics of the original, but it's just a little better in every way. It's a little cleaner. Everything's a little bit tighter and defined. The instruments come through a lot better, but it has all the vibe of the original, so it's kind of a nice linear upgrade. It's similar, but just slightly better. It's reasonably priced. It's cut from an analog tape. It's hard you can't complain on this. It's a solid pressing. It still sounds like an 80s record. But it's just improved. You know what I mean? And that's just a matter of you're taking one of the greatest mastering engineers of all time on a much more modern system and cutting it from tape. It just cleaned it up quite a bit. That's all I mean, there's not too much more I can say. It's just a little bit better at everything. And I think for most people, this is going to be the copy to own because it's like $25, $30. Now, if you're a super Prince fan, which there are a ton of those people out there, I'm a huge Prince fan myself, you might think to yourself, okay, if the $100 record is better, should I get the $100 record? But I think for most people who just want a great sounding, all analog record, cut from the master tape, done by Kevin Gray, this kind of ticks the boxes, right? It's great. Now, when you get to the one-step pressing, this was a lot harder for me to grapple with because this record doesn't even sound like the original in a way. You know, the more I listened to it, I thought to myself, there's a lot of EQing going on here to where kind of reminds me of Artist Intent. We had the big debacle about a year ago. Everybody hemming and hollering about the Artist Intent of the Rhino Hi-Fi television record. Some reviewers said the Artist Intent was not honored with that record, and subsequently it was bad. I actually thought it sounded much more listenable. I don't think the Artist Intent of this record is very similar to this when you listen to the two, but I actually think it's better. I think this EQing was tweaked enough to deviate from what the original sounded like. Certain instruments are a lot more embellished than others. Prince's voice is different in it, but it has a different sound altogether, much different than probably what Prince intended. I don't know. We're not going to be able to ask him. But the more I listen to this, and I'm a skeptic when it comes to $100 analog or $100 digital records, man. I really want to be down on something like this. I really do. You really got to blow my socks off for me to say, you know what, guys, go out and buy a $100 digital record when you can get a $30 one for all analog, $30. You can get original for $20, $25. And this record did. It has a very... It really cleans out a lot of that 80s production, almost like the MJ Thriller did for Mobile Fidelity, you know, the one step that they did. It kind of cleans out a lot of that. Now, I don't think it's quite the eye-opener that Thriller was compared to the original, but this is kind of almost like a fresh slate from scratch type of production. Everything is even a step farther, cleaner, more detailed, but EQ'd in a way to where things are different. The bass is turned up a little bit. Certain things pop a little bit more. You know, you got a little bit boosted bottom end. You got a little bit boosted top end. The synths kind of pop a little bit more. And the reason I say it's been EQ'd, and you know, theoretically, I don't know. I didn't master this record, so I couldn't tell you. But my guessing is, just going and listening to all these, since pretty much everything has kind of sounded similar to the original, I feel like that's probably the one that got futzed with the least. Kevin Gray, you know, Kevin Gray's not a big, let's just tweak all the dials every which way and doctor it up. So I kind of get the feeling like the newest one-step pressing was the one that suffered from that EQing, but I think it works here. I think this is a big improvement. It's a very, very hyper detailed record. You know, you can hear everything that's going on, but it has a more balanced approach. The bottom end comes through better. It's more detailed. You can still hear everything that's going on in the middle. Sometimes when you goose up certain things, you start to lose the middle. But, you know, I listen to The Beautiful Ones. It just has, Prince comes through so nicely. The kick drum is it just carries so well on the record. It's kind of hard to explain what's going on because I really don't know what was done to kind of get that sound. But I feel like the EQing was There was something going on here in the EQing, but I don't think it's a problem. I think this is worth $100. And again, you're getting this from somebody who is very reluctant to recommend $100 digital file albums. It's not my thing to do. But this is good. This is just a step above. I think if you are an audiophile and you're used to spending $100 on a record, spend $100 on this record. If you're a big Prince fan and it's a little bit of a stretch, spend $100 on this record. It'll be worth it. If you're just getting into records, you like this record, you can't name all the tunes on this record, you're a casual fan, I think you can be fine with that Kevin Gray cut, or even an original, but the Kevin Gray cut for pretty much the same money. Actually, a clean Kevin Gray cut at Acoustic Mastering, the all analog cut, buying like a new copy of that, or like a new old stock, or a near mint, it's gonna cost you less money than finding a near mint copy like this in the shrink with the hype. This probably twice, 3 times the price, because they're tough to find clean. It was a record that got played a lot, you know what I mean? A good record, party record. A lot of parties, a lot of lines are probably snorted off these records. So gonna be a little more difficult finding them clean. But it sold well, so it's not impossible. But the One Step, highly recommended. Levi at Black Belt Mastering cut it. The production's fantastic. I'd have been curious if what he did to this could have been done in the analog domain. I don't know. Maybe we need a hi-fi series that's not necessarily a one-step, but just a super high-quality production, and we can keep things analog. I'm not completely sold on the one-step being the superior format. I'm hearing a lot of dissenting opinions on this from the people in the know. I spoke about this with Kevin Gray, and he is of the opinion that it is detrimental to the sound. It's tough to tell, though, as a reviewer, because I don't get the same record both ways. He has heard the same record done 2 different ways. I have not. So for me, I can only review what's in front of me. But in this case, kudos to them. This is a great sounding record. They've done some digital stuff in the past, but they were like Linkin Park records, and I'm not buying $100 Linkin Park records. I'm sorry. You guys, somebody else out there can review those records. That's not going to be me. But Prince, I'm on board. And this sounds pretty damn good. Worth the $100. If you guys got this record already and you're comparing it to other things, what are your guys' thoughts? I mean, I've heard a lot of things back and forth on this record. I kind of told people when it first came out, I'm like, I heard good things. And then I had other people say, I've heard bad things. Then I'm like, okay, well, time to judge for myself. And the verdict is in. I didn't even own this record. I borrowed this from the store. This was actually one that came in damaged from the manufacturer. So it's got this smash corner here, and it's got a smash corner here. So this was actually in a pile getting ready to be sent back to Warner as a damage, because I don't like to be saddled with $100 records with damaged corners. So it's sitting in that damage pile. I'm like, you know what? Let's test it out before I sent it back. Yes, to get sent back. So I thought to myself, I'll test it out. How could it beat the Kevin Gray? It can't beat the Kevin Gray. I'm gonna review that record. I'm gonna throw that thing back in the box and off it goes. I'm gonna get out of this. I'm gonna do this review for nothing. That was my thinking. But now I gotta buy the damn record because it's really good. So it cost me $100. So, maybe like and subscribe the video. Let me try to get some YouTube funds to pay for this record. Click the bell. But yeah, you can buy it online from us, though. That'll help, too. You can buy it online from us at theingroove.com. Until next time.